I like it. I love Tucson. It's a great place. Although I sent a picture of Steve Kerr's jersey to him last night, and he said that he thought they should have hung it in dirt bags where he did his best work.
What am I supposed to do? I was 19 years old. I obviously fouled Jason. I think everybody in the gymnasium, 45,000 people, knew that I fouled Jason, with the exception of the referee who was supposed to be watching the game. But what am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm supposed to beg the ref to call a foul on me? No. I don't know. I joke around with Richard Jefferson all the time when we played for the Nets for a short stint, because he used to talk to me about it every single day, to the point where I was like, hey, what do you want me to do? So at this point now, considering that was in 2003, I've let go of it. I don't know how about you guys.
But it's been I think one of the great rivalries in basketball over the years. And look, rivalries are all the same to the participants. Whether it catches sort of national attention from people outside the rivalry is a different matter. Duke Carolina has somehow done that. I don't know why, but it resonates beyond the geographic footprint of the rivalry. But it's very much the same sort of the UCLA Arizona thing. The Pac-12 championship seems to run through those two places. For years, it ran only through Westwood, but now it runs through Tucson and Westwood, and that's what makes it great. Arizona's really good. I mean, they're so balanced. You know, they defend at a really high level, and even though they see a lot of zone, they've gotten much better against the zone. They see zone for a reason, is because most teams can't guard Lowry Markkanen off ball screens, and so they would prefer to pack the lane. And he's shown his versatility in that he can do a lot more than just shoot from the perimeter. I mean, he's got a low post game, a good passer. He's a really good player. I do think that UCLA is more powerful on the offensive end, but they're not the defensive team that Arizona's proven to be. And that's really the one difference in the two teams, is that Arizona consistently defends at a really high level, and UCLA has not done that throughout the course of the year, but they've done it much better over the last probably 5-6 games. And that's the difference in good and really good and great for UCLA, and that's why they can win it, is not just their offense, but if they get 3-4 more stops a game from what they were getting earlier in the season, that puts them among maybe the top 50 defensive teams in efficiency, and with their offense, that's more than good enough to beat anybody.
I was saying it before. First off, being on the East Coast, it's difficult for people on the East Coast to watch West Coast games, right? So I lived in LA for 3 years, and I just moved back to New York about a year and a half ago. So I started to fall in love with West Coast basketball, and getting a chance to go to UCLA and watch games, and then I always hear Richard or Gilbert Arenas talk about here and how much they love to hear and watching games. And first off, I'm happy that we're out here. Like, we need to do more West Coast games, because teams like Arizona, teams like Oregon, teams like UCLA, they need to get more press, because they're going to be in the Final Four picture. I know I have a couple of teams that will reveal tomorrow that I have Arizona being one of my Final Four teams, and it makes a hell of a difference when this thing is right in your backyard, because you think about it. As of right now, it looks like the Zags aren't going to lose a game, so they're probably going to get the number 1 seed out west, regardless of whatever you think about their potential resume. But watching this race down to the end, who's going to get that 2 seed out west? And that can make all of a difference in your run. I'm not knocking Gonzaga. I think they're a heck of a basketball team. They belong in the upper echelon of basketball. I also don't think they've been challenged for the past 2.5 months, and that can make a difference when you go into the NCAA tournament. So if I'm one of these 3 teams that's in contention for a number 2 seed in the West, I want that 2 seed. I want to play in my backyard. It makes a difference in going to Missouri or going to Tennessee or going to all the way to New York City, and then you can't travel. There's a difference when you play an NCAA tournament, when you feel like you're playing in a home game. And I know when I was at Duke, we always used to play the first couple of rounds right there in Greensboro or in Charlotte, and that made a heck of a difference.
This has been one of the best coaching jobs. It's not surprising given what a great coach Sean is, and his staff, but it's one of the best coaching jobs anybody's done all year, with all that they've had going on, young players, having players out, injuries. To go to this point in the year and be whatever they were, 25, 26, and 3, whatever it is, and the 3 losses to the quality of teams they've played is really remarkable. And I think the Pac-12 has 3. Oregon, UCLA, and Arizona are all capable of winning this thing. I don't think there are that many leagues that have 3. I just don't. And now, if something crazy happens, could somebody break through into? Of course. That's kind of baked into the tournament. But it's not that often that those things happen, that you have a team like Syracuse last year going from barely making the tournament to getting in the Final Four. That happens so rarely that it's really an outlier. What is not an outlier is having three teams like this league has, and there are three legit Final Four teams.
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, look, not to get into all the details of the matter. I think JB is better at speaking about the legalities of all the stuff that was going on with that. But as a guard, it's really frustrating to watch your teammates, and considering all the injuries that this team has dealt with too this year, the volatility, and knowing that you are a fixture that can be brought to the table and that what you can provide. But I told people that when he comes back, I was actually, I said, okay, here they come, right? Because if I'm Alonzo Trier, I'm pissed off. Like, I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder. Like, I have something to prove. And this is the Final Four team. This is the team that a lot of people at the beginning of the year did not talk about. And certain talking heads spoke about them. I spoke about Arizona as a team that can contend, but a lot of people didn't see it. And when Alonzo Trier comes back, you feel the energy of this team change. When players come back from injuries, you feel that this team is a team that should be in Phoenix. Now, look, the difficult thing about the tournament, the best team doesn't always win. It's a one-game series. But if you're asking me to bet some money on a team, I bet my money on the team right here.
You don't see this very often. We do, every once in a while with a Duke-Carolina game, you'll get a top 5, top 10 matchup, but it's not as often as you'd think. And so to get 4 versus 5, both won their games on Thursday night, so they're coming in here off of wins. It's rare. You just don't see it that often. And look, it isn't close. This is the game of the day and the game of the weekend, and everybody wants to see it. It's going to be in an amazing atmosphere. The atmosphere is always great here at McHale, but it'll be at a fever pitch for this one. This is a bucket list game where if they asked you if we weren't coming here and they asked us which one would you want to see, this is the one I'd want to see. But this is one of the shows where, and one of our sort of weekends where the game's what we'd be talking about wherever we were. If we happened to be somewhere else for whatever reason, we'd be talking about UCLA, Arizona. That would dominate the conversation because it's what everybody's thinking about, and that's the way I kind of look at it. What game would you want to watch? This is the one you'd want to watch, and that would be number one on your wish list. And we're lucky we're here. I was here. I was an assistant at Duke when we played here when Sean Elliott was still here. It would have been, it was 89-90, so it was the start 89-90 season, and it was a hard place to play then, and it's different. I mean, it's better now. It's an amazing atmosphere to get as many people as they get, and to have it's loud and the people are engaged, and sitting in the stands. I don't sit in the stands very often. There are a lot of good officials in this crowd. They're really, really good. They've got excellent vision and can see across the court when somebody steps out of bounds. That was really, really impressive.